looking to make a run back in the NCAA basketball ranks. Now, when I first came across this story, I thought, no way, this could not be for real. Now, I'm here to tell you, after doing further research, come to find out this is very much real and this is very much an interesting story, man. This is something that you'll find like in books or maybe in a movie, but not in actual reality. That's the current situation we're dealing with. How former NCAA players actually had played in NBA G League, made a run to be in the NBA. Some even played in NBA games. Well, I guess their stock is running dry, and they want to run that beat back in the college ranks to possibly raise up their stock. Awful announcement. Put out an article this morning that I thought no way could be for real. And I'm here to tell you it is very much real. It's being reported that Turn the Effing Page, Jeff Goodman sounds off on former NBA players seeking college eligibility. Jeff Goodman went on to say, the moment you check into a regular season NBA game, you're done. Your eligibility is gone. Now, just like I told y'all, man, I thought this was not real. I'm here to tell you this is very much a real story. Could you imagine former NFL players wanting to say, hey, can we go back to Alabama, Georgia? Maybe they struggling at the college ranks, or maybe, I didn't get the money thought I was going to get, or maybe I wasn't drafted the way I wanted to get drafted, so maybe I want to run it back. Now, I kind of get their way of thinking because, in regular work, when you're not a professional athlete, hell, if you don't have enough criteria or your resume don't line up with a certain job, you can go back to college and, get some more degrees and make yourself available for that said position that you didn't have eligibility for. Now, I get it in that aspect in the career field, but if you're a professional athlete and been drafted by another professional team, because these college players are professional athletes, you can't then say, hey, I want to go back to college because I slipped in a draft, basically. I don't know, man, but let's dive into this story. It stated the trend of former professional basketball players seeking NCAA eligibility is taking over the college basketball world. Former NBA draft pick James Nigel, selected 31st overall in the 2023 NBA draft, was granted 4 years of eligibility by the NCAA in December and is currently plays for Baylor after playing basketball professionally overseas. So it looked like, but see, this is why when you give them an inch, they're going to take a mile. It looked like the NCAA actually granted a former NBA player that was drafted in the 2023 draft eligibility. And he played overseas. I am not lying. This is for real. Wow. It goes on to say Charles Benedico has played in the last 2 games for Alabama after leaving the program early to enter the 2023 NBA draft. While Benedico never played in the NBA, he signed a 2-way deal with multiple NBA teams and played in the G League for the last 3 seasons. So he got a little career plan in the G League is professional, bro. Seasons, including earlier this month, he was recently granted a temporary restraining order, which was extended due to weather issues that allows him to play for the Crimson Tide ahead of a February 6th court hearing. The drama over his status also carried over AP voting. Now, like I stated before we read more of this article, I want to blow this up. Now, this is Joe Goodman speaking about players actually being eligible to come back after being drafted to play in a league. Let's listen.
As it pertains to this Amari Bailey thing and Bediako and all that, the number one thing to me should be, and again, like Seth said, we got judges, we got, ways of kind of getting around it with the court system. But number one should be the moment you check in to an NBA regular season game, you are done. Your eligibility is gone. You can never play college basketball. That should be the easiest thing in my mind to be able to do. Should be. Like even a judge should hopefully, like anybody should be able to interpret that. You are a pro, you played in an NBA game, it's over. It's over. The dream is over going back to college. Turn the page. Turn the effing page. And now I'm telling you, we got 10, 20 dudes who still have a year left next year that have played NBA games that aren't making real money right now in the league. They're either, jumping around on a two-way or G League or overseas, but they played 10, 20, 30 games, and they're all looking right now to come back because why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? If you're making $200,000-300 grand overseas or 75 grand in the G League, and somebody's saying, "Yeah, we're going to pay you $2 million next year in college," I don't care how demeaning you think it might be to go backwards for $2 million. You're doing it. You're doing it. So I don't blame them either. But again, should be so clear cut. Like the moment you check in for an NBA game, it's over. It's over. No college.
So basically, he's stating that this is very much due to the current state of NIL. And when you think about it, it makes a lot of sense. Now, I cover a lot of college players here on the channel. We just did a commitment a week ago. Now, I'm not finna let you guys know how much money that young man got for committing to Cal, but it was a lot, and there's a lot of players making a lot of money, millions of dollars in college, bro. Now, granted, people feel a certain type of way about a lot of these players making this type of money being the age that they are, being 18, 19, even 17 years old, making $2 million a year, $1 million. But where do we draw the line at when you're 23, 24, maybe 25, trying to come back and now play against teenagers for the money? When you already have made money on a professional level, this is going to be a big, big story. I feel like this story right here is something that is going to be talked about nationally. I believe the DOJ is possibly going to get involved in this. This is just one of those type of situations that you have to pay close attention to because it could alter NCAA sports, not just basketball, football, all NCAA sports. Because let's say now if a player got certain eligibility that they didn't use, because I'm guessing that's how they're able to do this, is because they might have redshirted or something, but they had eligibility left. Could you imagine how, like, if this becomes a thing, which I think it is? Let's read some more of this article, man. It said, and on Friday, news emerged that former UCLA player Amiri Bailey is attempting to become the first player to return to college basketball after playing in NBA games. So if he get granted, he actually played in NBA games, bruh. And it said Bailey selected 41st overall in the 2023 NBA draft, played in 10 games for the Charlotte Hornets in the year 2023 and 24. The Bailey news led to college football analyst Jeff Goodman of the Field of 68 sounding off, and that's what we just heard. Then it goes on to say, again, it should be so clear cut. The moment you check in for an NBA game, it should be over. To me, the moment you pretty much become a professional athlete, you should be done. There should be no way you should be eligible to come back. Now, I know this is going to spark a lot of controversy, a whole lot of controversy on Twitter and on social media when it comes to certain players being granted. Because I just got to be honest. I just got to be honest here, bro. I believe that is going to allow these players to come back and play. I wholeheartedly believe that they're going to allow that to happen. Now, just like I stated at the beginning part of the video, I believe that more sports is going to take this upon themselves. More former collegiate athletes is going to take this upon themselves to try to run it back. You know, the run it back phrase, they're going to try to run it back because let's say they fell in the draft or they didn't think they was going to do as great as they did in their set draft class. So then you could join another draft class. But here's what bothers me with all of this. What about the kids that's actually in that said draft class? What about high school kids that's trying to make a run to play on a Division I level? Now you got a former professional player that you got to compete with. What about the players in the transfer portal? See, there's over 5,000 athletes in the transfer portal. It could be up to 10 now. Now, what about those transfer portal players that was seeking eligibility for another institution because maybe they was let go or maybe, something happened with their family. They couldn't play that specific year. Now you got to not only compete with high school kids, you have to compete with former athletes coming back to a sport that they left and was drafted already for. This is a nasty, nasty story, guys. I just have to be completely honest with you guys. This is one that really got me scratching my head because I never thought in a million years NIL would do something like this. And I did a video. Well, I did a live speaking with a sports agent. Now, I might chop this up and put this in another video if this story grows some legs. Now, in that video, I talked to a professional sports agent that told me how many backdoor deals get done throughout NCAA. It's college. That's football, basketball, baseball. It don't matter what it is. We've seen Debo Swinney of Clemson come on record, state, you got other ADs trying to backdoor players. Now, that's that part of it. Now, let's say that if the NCAA commissioner puts some type of regulation on that aspect for us, you can't contact another player from another institution. Well, guess what they're going to do then? Well, if we can't do that and that's considered tampering, we're just going to contact G League players or practice squad players and make a bid to get them more eligibility. Because at the end of the day, if they didn't use all their eligibility, they still got eligibility left. I believe that's what we're going to see happen moving forward, which it hurts the high school student. It hurts the high school kid that wanted to go to Alabama, LSU, or Colorado, or just, whatever school they wanted to go to. Like they played middle school, pee-wee, all the way to now. And now you look and they tell you that we're going to move forward and take our offer back because we got professional damn athletes knocking at the door trying to come back. And then could you imagine the developmental stage? See, when you're in college, you're not quite there yet. That's why you go to the pros to get developed. Now, a lot of these players that is coming back from the college rank has been developed on a professional level, hence why they played in professional games. They has developed their game, took their game to the next level, And now you want to come back to play with lower competition to raise your draft stock again? Like, could you even be redrafted again? I would have to say they probably could. Guys, I don't know, but this is a very crazy but interesting story. Get down in the comment section. Let me know y'all thoughts about this one. Make sure y'all keep them bells on. I will be back with more content. And like always, man, shake the haters off. This one is crazy.